Let's talk about the most common mistakes a lot of first-time duck hunters make out in the field. Hey, this is Rick Dusick with Duck Assault. Just want to come at you, and I hope you guys go out and go ahead and click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon so that you get all of our latest and greatest content. So this episode is all about the most common mistakes new duck hunters make. Guys that just haven't been hunting very many seasons, maybe even not very many times, or maybe even just a few times over a lot of years. So what we're going to talk about is all the things or several things that you need to pay attention to and watch very carefully. Hey, there's a bunch of sections that we're going to cover, and the first one we're going to cover right now is all about movement. So ducks, their number one defense against us, the hunters, is their sight. They can see our skin color and the tones and movement in it so very slightly from such a far distance away, you would actually be astonished at that distance. So what we want to do as new hunters is go ahead and make sure that you stay still at all points in time when you're in the hunt. You know, try to minimize your movements and try to keep them to a minimum at all times once you got your decoys out and you're sitting and you're waiting for birds to come in. The more that you keep yourself still, the less you'll be seen, and the less you're seen, the more ducks will actually commit into your decoys and give you that shot that you actually can make. And so you're not sky busting or anything like that. The next thing that we're going to talk about when we're talking about common mistakes that first-time duck hunters make is we're going to talk about being camouflaged or being hidden, creating a blind, creating a way to hide yourself even better. So when you're out in the field, you know, you're always going to want to have some type of handsaw handy, possibly even some type of duct tape so that you can actually put some things together, you know, and whatnot. But use the brush around you. Brush yourselves in the best you can so that nothing can see you and nothing that you're sitting in front of, behind. And make sure that you look at the three-dimensional aspects of the blinds that you're building. Make sure that they can't see from 360 degrees around you. Make sure that you've got the best vantage point so you can see the most area, and when you're setting up one of those blinds, and it'll help improve your hunting all the time. The most that you can do is not be seen. That's their biggest defense, is their eyes. All right, guys, another common mistake that I've seen new duck hunters make is they just don't dress appropriately. You know, you've got to watch the weather the day before, and when you watch it, you know, if it's going to be 15 degrees outside with 25 miles an hour of wind and it's really going to feel like it's 4 degrees out there, you better have your thermals on, you better have another layer, and you better maybe even have another layer and have your thick gloves. Don't come out there with your thin gloves and a single layer and no thermals, you know. So dress appropriately to the conditions that you're provided on the hunt that you're going on. Don't ever hesitate to grab an extra pair of gloves or an extra shirt. Put it in the truck. Leave it close by so that you can get to it. If you're going in the boat, you know, grab it, you know, throw it in your backpack. You know, it's okay to overpack. Just don't do it when you got long walk-ins, because that makes it really rough. Hey guys, everybody jump over, when you get a minute, jump over to our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Duck Assault, and go ahead and follow us there. You can also check out our shop there. We have our shop up on our Facebook site. We also have Instagram as well, so jump over to our Instagram page. We've got the shop there as well. You can also just go straight to duckassault.com, and you can hit up any one of the products that we have out there. You know, we've got a lot of co-branded stuff, so, and you know, we're loving seeing all you guys and your hats and shirts that you've been purchasing. So y'all have a good one, and thank you very much for all your support. Next topic of discussion, calls. So here's the thing, with calling being a new duck hunter, and common mistakes that are made all the time. I hear it, I see it, I watch it happen regularly. Over calling. You can go overly crazy with the calls and make the birds not come into your spread, not get down into the decoys. So at first, you know, you definitely get out onto YouTube and watch some of these guys' videos. They'll explain to you, they'll explain to you when the ducks are passing, when you should be hitting the calls, what type of call, We'll have some instructional videos out as we continue to build content and show you guys what we're doing. But, don't overcall. But, you can learn a lot of things, and then there's a lot of trial and error in it as well. So when you're out there and you're ready, use your calls, but don't overdo it. All right, the next section, decoys and the actual spread when you actually put them out into the area in which you're hunting. You want to be very careful with this because you can actually hurt yourself really bad. You can do it by having too much motion in the decoys, not enough motion in the decoys, blocking birds off from being able to land where you can shoot them. You can actually set them up to land 40, 50, 60 yards away from you when you were hoping to land them within 20 yards. So you can cause yourself to have bad shots, which turns into be no birds. And so what you really want to do is you want to be very cognizant of how you're putting your decoys out, and you want to watch the entire environment. You also want to watch the weather because the wind's going to dictate where they're going to drop into the pockets and things like that as well. So make sure that you get out there and you educate yourselves about your decoy spread as new hunters. All right, here's the last section of this new video that we've got out. It has to do with the number one thing that I see most new duck hunters don't do. They are itching so badly to get out there and to kill birds that they go out and they set themselves up and they just really aren't scouting. And so number one thing and the biggest common mistake is go scout instead of hunt. Scout 3 times as much as you hunt. You will actually be more successful if you do that. We all make the mistakes. I made the mistake this last season about not scouting enough and actually finding the birds. So we didn't kill as many birds, but we all do it. So scouting. That's what kind of actually is the number one common mistake that I see across all new duck hunters. Well, guys, we made it through all of that. It was great. We went over don't move too much. Create a blind and create a really good backdrop and a foredrop and get 3-dimensional when you're actually getting your blind put together and brushing it in. You need to not overcall, and then set up good decoy spreads because they'll help you get ducks into the right position when you're ready to shoot. Then we told you about the number one thing, which is scouting. So if I can tell you anything, dude, get in your truck, get your binoculars, drive, hit the roads, drive around, watch for birds, see where they're going, check the time, watch where they're flying to and from, look if they're going to ponds to feed, if they're going to fields to feed, scout. It'll help you become a much better hunter very quickly if you actually start understanding their behavior and their patterns. So this is Rick Dusick with Duck Assault, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in and paying attention to me while I was kind of going all over all of the mistakes, but y'all have a wonderful one.